questions being raised tonight over the foreign business interests of a Somerset MP. Marcus Fysh, the Conservative who represents Yeovil, is refusing to talk to the BBC about his Cyprus business connections, nor will he discuss their links to a company which was investigated for alleged Russian money laundering.
But a political opponent has said he should refer himself to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. Clinton Rogers has this exclusive report.
Marcus John Hudson Fysh is duly elected as the Member of Parliament for the Yeovil constituency.
Politically, Marcus Fysh was something of an unknown when he stormed to victory in the 2015 general election, winning what had been considered a safe Liberal Democrat seat.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Study his background and you'll discover that prior to politics, he worked in finance and economics, business and investments.
Clinton Rogers from BBC.
Yeah, hi, can I ask you a question about your business interests, sir?
But now, it's his personal business interests that are attracting attention and raising questions.
Can I ask you why you won't talk to us about it, sir?
Questions which, for now, the MP seems unwilling to answer. These questions take us to Cyprus. Since 2013, before he was elected an MP, Mr Fysh has been a director of a company called Mackinaw Holdings. Another director and the secretary of Mackinaw, as well as being the owners, are Cyprus-based companies Belserve Consultants and Vespaco Properties. Now, Belserve and Vespaco are also connected to another company called Prevezon Holdings, and that's a company that was investigated by a United States attorney over alleged Russian money laundering.
Now, the case against Prevezon was actually settled just before it was due to go to court, with the company paying $5.8 million to the US government. That settlement stipulated that it did not amount to an admission of guilt.
Prevezon and the people involved in the company have always denied any wrongdoing. There is no suggestion that Mr Fysh was involved in the Prevezon case, or indeed anything illegal. But there are now those calling into question his links to a company which was at the centre of that investigation.
Should we be concerned that the company you're involved with also has connections with what people might call dubious Russian businessmen?
It isn't clear what Mackinaw is or what it does, and Mr Fysh won't tell us. Trying to find out is made harder by the fact that there's no phone number for the company in Cyprus, no web page, no obvious way to contact them.
This is the paperwork that we came across in Mackinaw.
We've shown papers outlining what we've discovered about Mr Fysh's Cyprus business connections to the man who once held the Yeovil parliamentary seat. He says Mr Fysh needs to answer the questions.
Well, the best way to deal with this is to self-refer to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards, who can check the thing over and see if he's made any mistakes. Now, let me start off by saying only questions. I'm sure there's a rational explanation. He is in a public position, he's on the Select Committee for International Trade, and he has his constituents to consider, and I'm sure all of us would wish him to make what I'm sure is a perfectly reasonable and rational explanation and make the matter clear. It's not right, I think, that the questions should lie there and not be answered.
You highlight the discrepancy between the first and...
MPs are required to declare certain financial links to the Register of Members' Interests. Mr Fysh does declare an interest in a company called London Wessex, but not Mackinaw. But then, if he isn't gaining a financial advantage from the Cyprus company, then he doesn't need to.
Is there a reason why you won't talk to us about it? There's nothing to say about it. There's nothing of interest.
Well, we got nowhere here today. I have to say that we have been trying to contact Mr Fysh for the last month, sending him emails, talking to his office, trying to get him on the phone. He hung up on me once, but we will keep trying.
We've sent letters to the Cyprus companies, but so far we've had no replies. We've also tried to contact the chairman of Mr Fysh's Conservative Association. He too has not responded. And with Mr Fysh also saying nothing, for now the questions go unanswered. Clinton Rogers, BBC Points West.
It's coming.